Okay, the bell has rung, school's in session. Welcome back, everyone. This is Aluminum Tarot. Thanks so much for joining today. It's going to be, last but not least, certainly not least, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get a quick overview of what's going to take place for you from now until 30 days later. You could loosely term this August 2025, but of course this will be a 30-day period. So that way, you can at least get the full picture of, what's going to take place over a month's time rather than just a few weeks. I am awaiting a package, and that package is going to probably say Mars a bit later on. But unfortunately, I have the strong feeling that it's going to arrive sometime during this recording. So keep our fingers crossed that that's not the case. But if it does happen, I will have to pause the video and then go pick that up. Anyways, if you like what you see here on this channel, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding that notification bell so that you don't miss any updates from future postings. And if you spot any scammers trying to offer you personal readings through WhatsApp, Telegram, or any of the other, social media apps, please be sure to, report and block them because they don't belong here. We're going to see now what's taking place for you, Cancer. Of course, I've already discussed some of the transits taking place in the heavens at this particular point in time in our existence, so I'm not going to go over that again. We are now going to use the Wild Unknown Tarot, and then after that we'll clarify with an oracle card message from the Moonology Oracle deck. Now, let's get to it. Cancer, this is you. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising for now until 30 days after this reading. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What is taking place for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising from now until the end of from now until 30 days. Let me make sure that's clear. It's taking place for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising from now until 30 days after this reading. Cancer's current energy. So we have Cancer's challenge. Okay. Cancer's recent past. Oof. Cancer's near future. Cancer's core energy. Cancer's core energy. That's your card. Cancer's crown energy. Okay. And what is the likely outcome? All right, so bottom of the deck. This card has been coming out for quite a few signs, so you're no exception. This is the Two of Pentacles, and of course with this butterfly imagery here, this does talk about the need for a kind of transformation so that you can more readily adapt to the changes taking place in your life. And with that said, you may be in the near future going through not a bit of an upheaval per se, but a time and period in which you have to juggle more and more things. So this could be more like work-related situation where your responsibilities, duties, and goals are going to have to become more and more prevalent as time passes. And I say that because you're now in the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. And what that normally insinuates is it talks about a time in which you have received some kind of assistance from people after a difficult period that you've gone through. And then now you're determining whether or not the work or the things that you've invested in have paid off, and that you can either A, go to the Eight of Pentacles where you feel that you can put strong sustained work into something, or B, you need to go back and kind of regroup. And the challenge for all of this is the Daughter of Pentacles, which is the Page of Pentacles in this deck. And this tells us a little bit about learning things that are going to be instrumental for you to lay the foundation. So after receiving the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Daughter of Pentacles who takes it and starts to nurture it using their intellectual capabilities, their curiosities, and their ability to learn in a structured environment. So the pages communicate things to people that they need to know. For example, the Page of Cups, may communicate a message like an apology, or they may communicate some thoughtful words, poetry, flirtation, things of that nature. Same along with the Page of Wands, which tells us a little bit about something that we're excited about. They can be flirtatious as well, but more for the passionate, sensual side rather than the emotional depth. And they're normally novices, or at least they're very young, so they talk about an immature expression of that energy rather than trying to be like the queen or the king of a particular suit, which is more masterful in that, depending on their nature. So, due to this, it's almost like you're not really sure if you're able to continue with something because you feel like you're not adequate enough, or you're not able to go forward with this energy. You haven't learned enough for this to become a success. So you may have entered a new field of study, or taken on a new job, or maybe you're entering into a new relationship where you feel that you don't have all of the answers or all of the information needed to make it a successful venture. So in the recent past, you have Temperance card, and the Temperance here oftentimes talks about, needing to be patient with things, going through a bit of trial and error, experimenting with certain things, so that way you can reap the best rewards for that. I'm going to clarify Temperance. So I have the Temperance and we have the Hierophant in the reverse. So this is about it's like you need to be patient with something, but it became more difficult for you to do that. So when you're dealing with the Hierophant, you're learning the lessons of the universe, and you're waiting to do things in a conventional manner, traditional, playing by the rules typically, or entering into large organizations where this kind of behavior is warranted or essential. So say, for example, you enter into a large corporation and you have to dress up in a traditional way, you have to follow rules, there's a specific protocol for everything. It's almost like you are now in a position where you don't want to abide by that, or maybe you have lost the patience in the past. And I'm getting a second message, which could tell me that maybe someone you were dealing with, because the Hierophant is a person, it could oftentimes be about a marriage, because the Hierophant is the Pope card. The Pope marries two people in the traditional, religious sense. And with that dissolving, you're now being patient with the process, or you're trying either A, to save a marriage, or B, you're trying to get out of a marriage and the process is taking way too long. Now, in the near future, what we talk about is the Two of Wands in the reverse. So it's about making a firm decision to do something. We'll find out exactly what that decision is. Okay. Just looking out everywhere. Okay, so we have the Nine of Cups and we have the Eight of Wands. So the Two of Wands, Eight of Wands, that's the Ten of Wands. So situations become a bit too much to bear. You are now ready to make a strong, decisive move towards your happiness now here, your wish fulfillment. And I think that's what that tells us about. The Two of Wands, typically when they're in the reverse, it says either A, I've done a poor job at planning, or B, in this, what I definitely see, I see you making a firm decision to do something. And that's saying, okay, no more waiting around. In the past, I was tolerant, I was patient. I did a bit of the give and take game. But then after that, I said, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go ahead, make this decision, and I want all the chips to fall where they may. So with the Eight of Wands and the Nine of Cups, it's like, I want my wish fulfillment now. Not yesterday. I mean, not tomorrow, not the week after, but now. And it's important that, for you, these things do start to come in, because I can see you at an energetic level, losing your cool with it. Now, what we have here at your very core is you, the moon. And what this talks about is trying to use your intuition to be your guide, especially through a dark and difficult period. Now, with this moon card, what we see here is the moon at a crescent between two trees. And we see the same tree as being the emperor. Now, this popped into my head. It doesn't apply to a lot. It applies to a very small amount of people. Maybe you have between two choices of people that you're particularly fanciful with, and maybe one person's chapter is closing out and another one is beginning. This could also be two jobs, because this, the emperor in this deck is represented by a large or a massive tree. And in this case, you could be moving from one position to another, one lover to another, and one phase in life that has had a firm foundation to another phase in life. So this is about crossing over from one side to another. And because it's ruled by Pisces, and to an extent, and to another extent, Cancer, I would see, because Cancer is represented by the moon in astrology, we talk a lot about that forward movement that propels you from one state to another, because it's also represented by things like adolescence or puberty, things of that nature. It's a very rapid shift from being a child into an adult. It's a rapid shift from one life phase into another. And so that's kind of what I get here with this. And that's also represented by the Chariot as well. The person has become comfortable with where they were in the past, and now they're moving into a place outside the city walls, drawn by the luck of the draw, with the chariots guiding them without a rein on them. So we then come to what is known. This is the external energy that is being presented here. And what we have is basically, we have a Nine of Wands in the reverse. And what this tells us about is that you've just kind of given up on being patient with something. Typically, the Nine of Wands is about fighting until the bitter end and not giving up, not losing hope, or not losing steam on something you are strongly moving towards. So that's what I see with the Eight of Wands in the near future. The reason why you're in the Eight of Wands in the near future is because you're the Nine of Wands at your very crown essence. And this is what you're aware of. And this says to you, I'm so ready for a change that I'm willing to just take the risk and go for it. And I don't see the Fool card here, but it's quite possible that you were in that kind of Fool energy where you feel that, hey, I've waited long enough. I've been in Temperance energy in the recent past. And now I'm ready to just kind of wing it. I'm just ready to do this. So if you have been holding yourself back from doing something, you will be taking action on that in the near future. And if you are in a period where you are patiently waiting for someone else to do something, you're going to say fuck it in the near future as well. And you're just going to move forward. Now, in the very end of this, we have the Knight of Cups, which is represented by the Son of Cups here. And we talk a lot about this goose or swan is sat around this cup with something in it. And, in the traditional Rider-Waite, we have a fish in some of those cups many times, like with the Page of Wands. With the Knight of Wands, I don't think they have a fish in that, because now that they've already seen the vision, which is represented in the Page of Wands, they're then moving with that towards their object of affection or desire. So this is you. Maybe you have a crush on somebody and you then realize that, you have waited long enough. You tried to do the passive approach or the subtle approach. Hey, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Now you're just kind of like, you're not saying you're jumping on the person, but like, you're going to take more assertive action towards that person. If in the recent past you were just experimenting, trying to get a job, I just want to talk to people and see testing the waters and blah, blah, blah. Now you're going to go, ankle deep in whatever it is that you need to do, putting out resumes, attending job fairs, doing what you need to do in order to achieve that job. So it's going from 0 to 60 in a very short time, which is going to allow you to ramp up the energy needed to go from one stage in your life to another stage. And maybe there's a sense of urgency that you feel within yourself that is going to prompt or, prod you to actually get to that stage where you do start to invest more of your energy into it. And I think that's a very good thing. But with that Knight of Cups, Knights are fast moving cards. And the fastest, of course, is the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Wands. But the Knight of Cups is very, it's going towards its destination. Let's clearly see what that is about. What is the Knight of Cups about? I'm not sure if that's the right card. Let me double check. Clarify the Knight of Cups. Okay. So I'm getting a message here. It is about love. That's what we have at the bottom of the deck. And that's the Two of Cups there. So that's the Knight of Cups moving towards its Two of Cups in the near future. The reason why is I feel like you have had a false start or a missed opportunity with someone that made you feel like you had failed in the attempt to keep someone in your life. And now that you have felt that failure or that issue of, the one that got away, because we do have the Ace of Wands in the reverse and the Six of Wands in the reverse. These are actions that you have taken in the recent past or in the past in general that have led to a lack of success. And now you're stepping up your energy so that way you can move forward and actually go for what it is that you want. And that doesn't need to be in love per se. It could be about something you feel very strongly passionate about, a job, a career. It could be about a stage in your life within a relationship, getting married, because maybe in the past you did not want to get married, Hierophant reverse, and you just kind of wanted to wait for the opportunity to arise and maybe prolong it a bit later on. Now you're kind of like, getting older, biological clock and all that bullshit. But now you're getting the impetus to actually go for what it is that you think that you want. And that's a good thing. Just hopefully you didn't miss the boat with what it is that you were pursuing at that one time in which it wasn't that big of a priority then. I'm going to pull an oracle message for you, and then hopefully we can get to the bottom of this. What oracle message have we got for Cancer? What oracle message have we got for Cancer? That flew out. So we're going to figure out what that was. And of course, this is the reason why I like these oracle cards. Bam. A fiery climax approaches. And that is precisely what we've been talking about. You're getting to the point where you are no longer sitting idly by as your desire runs away from you or escapes your orbit. You are now taking action. This is full moon in Aries, accumulating that energy of Martian passion and drive and ambition, and going after what it is that you truly seek. So that way, you are no longer in this energy of stagnation, but you're in this energy of proactivity. And that will in turn lead you, hopefully, to the result that you want. At least giving it a shot and not sitting by and letting the world pass you by. So, that is the message for today. Thank you so much. This is Aluminum Tarot. Once again, it's a pleasure to have you here. If you like what you see with the channel, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell so you don't miss any updates from future postings. And I'm waiting patiently for my package, my bloody package, to arrive here. So that way the next series of podcasts that I record will have way better sound quality. And I'm hoping that that is the case. Experimentation is the key, as we find with Temperance. Sagittarian card, me being a Sagittarian ascendant, this is something that I love to do. Try to experiment with different setups and everything. So once that arrives in, maybe I can do a quick recording to test out and then just to banter with everyone and see what goes. But anyways, much love to everyone. Until next time, love and light. Take care. Thank you.